Oh, come on. You'll react to the cute little pink anime girl who just so happens to cause a little mass destruction, and yet you still let Jai Savali get away? Come on, do better, Japan. Our final episode of this series opened with our title characters using their newly revived toys in an actually productive way to landscape the former grounds of the Holmes Academy. Yeah, and a pretty clever little bit of direction. The scene kind of echoed the first episode with Milky Holmes doing some agricultural work, but this time for less selfish reasons as they were trying to restore their school rather than making a farm, though there was one there too. Regardless, it did highlight some very significant character growth for them. Interestingly, they also sung the Prisoner song from that one episode, likely as a callback to it, as well as to kind of show them reflecting on everything that has happened to them in this season, as any good series finale should. Girls, I'm pretty sure you hit a water pipe. But yeah, with their school grounds at least having a working foundation again, Milky Holmes just needed someone to properly guide them to re-establishing their school, i.e. they needed Henriette. However, the femme fatale herself was busy re-establishing her own name in Yokohama. As a result, we got one last bit of Toshiyuki Sato Sakuga with the Phantom Thief Empire facing off against the G4. And while half of them, specifically Sugiko and Hirano, put up decent fights, the genius Kokoro was as usual useless, while Saku was tweeting about her job. Well, at least she doesn't have a TikTok. To be fair, Henriette wasn't stealing anything of insane value. I mean, personally, I think most perfumes are just overpriced smelly water. But she was also disappointed that Milky Holmes still weren't around chasing them even though they had gotten their toys back. Said detectives were trying to get some new student enrollments for their fledgling academy, which, to be fair, was progressing a lot more than Dr. Umar's. However, people were equally right to not want to enroll in the academy of a group of idiots who, while they were the ones who saved the world from the Lord God, were also the ones who opened Pandora's jar in the first place. Later, they ended up learning about the return of the Phantom Thief Empire thanks to a report from Colonel Muska, who, to be fair, I would trust his reports more than CNN. And in turn, Henriette managed to learn that Milky Holmes wanted her back in order to really start up the revival of their school. This would act as the main plot of this episode, with her hilariously, and kind of adorably, trying to make a grand return in front of them. She initially tried to take a bit more of a casual route, only for Cheryl to of course be distracted. She then tried the cliched happen to being at a coffee shop routine, but she probably should have scoped out her location a little better, as there also happened to be a new Bible vendor. Which, yeah, I'm pretty sure they'll make these things fresh. Though at 10 yen a pop, I would take 20 of them. Her third attempt was easily the most hilarious, as not only did she have a whole scenario mapped out in her head that was kind of adorable, as it really showed off how much she actually treasured interacting with Milky Holmes, but the thing that ended up blocking her was... Girl, why do you keep so many flashlights in your jacket? But yeah, Corin was there to both cock-block Henriette and remind Milky Holmes about that one subplot with the Detective Expo's mascot contest. Yeah, you'd think after the whole Lard Apocalypse thing that they might reschedule that, but again, it's a magical girl world. Everyone's kind of jaded to world-end disasters at this point. And speaking of lard, I think Milky Holmes coded themselves into stuff considering how shiny they look when they arrive for the contest. But yeah, they decided to participate, along with Henriette, who was listening in. At the contest, they found even the toyless Kokoro was participating, mostly because they had a few extra slots. Yeah, but should a cop really be committing clear copyright infringement? Actually, they seem to have a lot of extra slots, as to really make this feel like a final episode full of callbacks, they had at least one side character from almost every episode show up as participants. Surprisingly though, Gogol 13 didn't show up, though to be fair, maybe they were actually being cautious of copyright claims now. I mean sure, there was Muska earlier, but come on, they wouldn't just throw in, say, Erika and Tsubomi if they got covered in paint thinner. Oh, and there was also Milky and Yayoi if they got hit with the idiot stick a few dozen times. Yeah, fun fact, this series came out in 2012, the same year as Smile Precure. Thus, I doubt they could have seen much of that series as this show was in production, but to be fair, this isn't an inaccurate depiction of these two cures. I actually think Erika is the most off as she's not even trying to steal the scene. But yeah, along with them, they also had the prisoners and warden from that one episode in the audience. I'm guessing this is a part of their rehabilitation or something. With that though, the contest was underway.
And it's gone.
Yeah, after the commercial break, they just kind of did a time skip interviewing Crone, the G4, and Milky Holmes about the results of the contest, only to skip right back to the end of it. Yeah, the last thing this show needs to do is avant-garde direction of all things. Regardless, they did just want to focus on the finals, which end up being between Cheryl and the masked Henriette. The latter was a little more popular for likely a couple of reasons. Anyway, for the finals of this contest that's been all about mysteries, they were going to do a little... it makes more sense if you played Umineko, or maybe less, it's kind of 50-50. Regardless, Cheryl was up to the challenge, ironically for the sake of Henriette. This then pretty nicely followed up with her actually recognizing her through just touching hands, and of course, another prominent feature. Okay, but seriously, it was a genuinely sweet scene with not only some good yuri between the heroine and villainess, but also a really good insert song that I'm pretty sure was sung by Cheryl's VA, Suzuko Mimori. Appropriately, it was all about Cheryl chasing down her eternal adversary with some strong determination and, yes, a little romanticism. And all of a sudden, this is an S-tier Yuri ship. In the end though, likely because she was leading the dance throughout, Henriette won, but really both girls were kind of winners in the end. With that, she finally got the perfect opportunity to reveal herself to Milky Holmes, who in turn finally properly declared themselves as detectives, really showing how much they had grown since their last disastrous encounter. Though speaking of disasters, after being hit by some wash pans that just fell from out of nowhere, they lost their toys again.
Oh, come on!
However, with them clearly having gotten at least their determination back, Henriette did see some value in helping rehabilitate them again. With that, she and the three cards returned to their old school grounds, where they once again started proper classes, or at least as proper as they could with their current setup. But hey, at least they managed to get Buta back, and the episode and the season ended with even more students coming back to their school grounds, where they and Milky Holmes could rebuild their paths towards becoming true detectives. This is honestly a very effective anime series finale, especially for a show like this. It had a lot of meaningful callbacks through a bunch of significant side characters coming back, and they really reinforced the themes of the series. And even though they lost their toys yet again, all hope is not lost. I think after reviewing this season, I've really come to appreciate some admittedly very minute subtleties to this one. Yes, at least 80% of the time. It was over-the-top anime nonsense with even more references than even I could keep up with. Obviously, as we said throughout, Henriette went through the most significant arc of her dealing with Milky Holmes, falling out with them, and then coming back to them. For her, it was all about learning how to keep temperance with them, which, yes, is demanding, but give them a little time and maybe a little tough love, and Milky Holmes did actually develop in the latter half of the series by taking their jobs a little more seriously, even if they still screwed up a lot. And for this final episode, seeing everyone they helped over the course of this season made you realize that they actually did do a lot of good. And that's really what a season finale should do, make it feel like the journey was all worth it in the end, which considering how much of a blast I had covering the series, yeah, it was worth it, even if the views kind of weren't there. Still, overall, this final episode and season as a whole was honestly even better than the first in my opinion. They upped the action, the comedy, and yeah, even kind of the romance. Milky Holmes may have lost their toys yet again, but they weren't just starting from square one again, as their journey was far from over. That said, I think that'll be it for our coverage for this franchise, as starting next week, we will be starting a new series for this channel. It's been a long time coming, but I think now is as appropriate a time as any for us to do some unlocking. So, look forward to it. Until then though, for now my friends, and oh come on, that's just Hanzawa-san, leave him alone.